Okay, this is a French-Canadian website. It says an unconfirmed scenario. The COVID plan from Justin Trudeau's office. They're supposed to launch sometime end of this year. And here's the English translation. Dear removed, I want to provide you some very important information. I'm a committee member within the Liberal Party of Canada. I sit within several committee groups, but with the information I am providing is originating from the Strategic Planning Committee, which is steered by the PMO, the Prime Minister's office. I need to start off by saying that I'm not happy doing this, but I have to. As a Canadian, more importantly, as a parent who wants a better life, not only for my children, but for the other children as well. The other reason I'm doing this is because roughly 30% of the committee members are not pleased with the direction this will take Canada. But our opinions have been ignored and they plan on moving forward towards their goals. They've also made it very clear that nothing will stop the planned outcomes. The roadmap and aim was set out by the PMO and is as follows. Number one, phase in secondary lockdown restrictions on a rolling basis, starting with major metropolitan areas first and expanding outward, expected by November 2020. Number two, rush to acquisition or construction of isolation facilities across every province and territory, expected by December 2020. Three, daily new cases of COVID-19 will surge beyond capacity of testing, including increases in COVID-related deaths following the same growth curves, expected by the end of November 2020. Number four, complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first and second rolling phase restrictions, expected by the end of December 2020 to early January 2021. Reform and expansion of the unemployment program to be transitioned into the Universal Basic Income Program, expected by Q1 2021. Number six, projected COVID-19 mutation and or co-infection with secondary virus referred to as COVID21, leading to a third wave with much higher mortality rate and higher rate of infection, expected by February 2021. Number seven, daily new cases of COVID-21 hospitalization, COVID-19, and COVID-21 related deaths will exceed medical care facility capacity expected Q1 and Q2 2021. Number eight, enhanced lockdown restrictions referred to as third lockdown will be implemented. Full travel restrictions will be imposed, including inter-province and intercity, expected Q2 2021. Number nine, transition of individuals into the Universal Basic Income Program, expected mid-Q2 2021. Number 10, projected supply chain breakdowns, inventory shortages, large economic instability, expected late Q2 2021. Number 11, deployment of military personnel into major metropolitan areas as well as major roadways to establish travel checkpoints, restrict travel and movement, provide logistical support to the area expected by Q3 2021. Along with that provided roadmap, the Strategic Planning Committee was asked to design an effective way of transitioning Canadians to meet an unprecedented economic endeavor, one that would change the face of Canada and forever alter the lives of the Canadians. What we were told was that in order to offset what was essentially an economic collapse on an international scale, that the federal government was going to offer Canadians a total debt relief. This is how it works. The federal government will offer to eliminate all personal debts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, etc., with which all funding will be provided to Canada by the IMF under what will become known as the World Debt Reset Program. In exchange for acceptance of this total debt forgiveness, the individual will forfeit ownership of any and all property and assets forever. The individual would also have to agree to partake in the COVID-19 and COVID-21 vaccination schedule, which will provide the individual with unrestricted travel and unrestricted living even under a full lockdown. through the use of false identification referred to as Canada's HealthPass. Committee members asked who would become the owner of the forfeited property and assets in that scenario, and what would happen to lenders of financial institutions. We simply told the World Debt Reset Program would handle all of the details. Several committee members also questioned what would happen to individuals if they refused to participate in the World Debt Reset Program, or the HealthPass, or the vaccination schedule. And the answer we got was very troubling. Essentially, we're told it was our duty to make sure we came up with a plan to ensure that would never happen. We're told it was the individual's best interest to participate. When several committee members pushed relentlessly to get an answer, we're told that those who refused would first live under the lockdown restrictions indefinitely. And then over a short period of time, as more Canadians transition into the debt forgiveness program, the ones who refuse to participate will be deemed a public safety risk and will be relocated into isolation facilities. Once in those facilities, they will be given two options: participate in the debt forgiveness program and be released, or stay indefinitely in the isolation facility under the classification of a serious public health risk and have all their assets seized. So as you can imagine, after hearings, all of this turned into quite the heated discussion and escalated beyond anything I've ever witnessed before. In the end, it was implied by the PMO that the whole agenda would move forward no matter who agrees with it or not. That it won't just be Canada, but in fact, all nations will have similar roadmaps and agendas. That we need to take advantage of this situation before us to promote change on a grander scale for the betterment of everyone. Those members who were opposed and ones who brought up key issues that would arise from such a thing were completely ignored. Our opinions and concerns were ignored. We simply told to do it. All I know is that I don't like it. I think it's going to place Canadians in a dark future. Well, this is true. Then there's nowhere in the world that is safe